This is the same as people that go, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I'm like, no, I wouldn't. I bet you're everyone is when they're angry. Why would you? No, you wouldn't. It's laughable. It's like...
Welcome to Unpopular Theory, the podcast where we talk about people's unpopular opinions and look at the theory behind it. Today we've got... you introduce yourself actually, Sam.
We've got me. I'm Sam. I'm here.
Sam Gibbons.
Yeah.
And what do you do?
This and other things as well.
He does a bunch of creative stuff. I think he's just trying to be humble.
I'm tremendously bad at this. I'm an actor and other things as well.
I thought we'd start today.
You could have got anyone to do this.
Yeah, no, but I had to, this is my charity, it's my good deed for the...
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
I thought we would start by looking at other people's unpopular opinions.
Alright, let's do this.
So, first one, yeah? If we move to a 4-day week, Wednesday should be the day off.
Does it elaborate at all?
It does, I just wanted to see your reaction.
To that statement, okay, I sort of get where they're coming from, yeah.
So let me see.
Hang on. So you mean work Monday, Tuesday, and then work Thursday, Friday?
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. Yeah, I kind of get that. That breaks up the time nicely.
So what this person said is taking off either Friday or Monday doesn't change anything. People tend to feel exhausted by Wednesday or Thursday, making it counterproductive. The best approach is to have a midday off.
Well, I suppose it depends what job you do and how lazy you are.
You're so technical about it. I'm
Sorry.
just like yes or no.
Sorry. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Next
one.
We're wheeling them out. We're getting it done.
Bragging about not getting enough sleep is really weird.
Yeah. Is that a thing?
Yeah. People, you know how people like...
I only had 3 hours sleep.
I've had 2 hours sleep today. I want all your sympathy, Sam.
Well, that's not a brag though, is it? That's self-pity.
It's like, oh, look at me, I'm still going.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well,
no.
This is their elaboration. Oh, this is a teenager. Oh no, I've lost it.
Do you know that because they've given their age, or you just read it like
written,
this is someone who was born very recently?
Being a teenager, it's really wild how many people I see saying stuff like, "Oh my god, I got to bed at like 4 a.m. last night and I had to chug a Monster this morning." It's never. That's what I mean.
Did you write this one?
It's never. I was up all night partying, or I was up all night working. Oh, I see what that means. So they're basically saying,
"Oh, this sort of thing."
The reason.
Yeah.
Were you sleeping?
Yeah. Well, that's
self-inflicted.
That's such an old thing, though, isn't it? It's like I've not even slept. I was in the club, and then I had a sandwich, and then I just went straight to work. Didn't even have a nap. I drove here. Definitely illegal. It's like shut up.
Yeah,
it's not impressive.
Are we
I mean, it's impressive if you're a detective and time's running out and you've not slept for 48 hours, but you're trying to track down this murderer, a paedophile, which incidentally is a screenplay I'm writing. But it's not impressive if it's just some teenager going like, I stayed up till 2 a.m. and I didn't even tell my mum. That's...
Okay, so bragging about not getting enough sleep is we agree. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's quite a roundabout way to that one. I'm sorry.
This one's random. Oranges and orange flavour as a whole does not combine well with anything. I actually agree with that because I hate. Is it Terry's chocolate orange?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love chocolate orange. Yeah. No, I mean, I wouldn't have orange juice and then brush my teeth, or the other way around.
People love orange with chocolate, don't they?
Cocktails is good. You think of rum punch, pineapple juice, orange juice. No. Not your flavour. Fair enough.
I don't really think there's Jaffa cake orange flavour. Shit, this is just orange jelly.
No, it's sort of cardboard flavour.
No, what flavour is it? The orange bit inside.
Yeah, but I never looked at the inside of a Jaffa cake and thought that makes me think of fruit. That makes me think of
what flavour is
nuclear waste or ectoplasm. I don't know what flavour. I don't know. I don't recall what flavour it tastes of chocolate and despair.
So you're saying that orange with chocolate is good?
No, that's not.
Then? Are you agreeing with
right? What's the statement?
The statement is orange as a flavour as a whole does not combine well with anything.
No, that's such a sweeping statement. That's so oversimplified. But firstly, taste is subjective, and secondly, loads of things can go with orange. It depends what you like.
Worst orange product.
I like rum punch. You just like macking on a pint of vodka. You know, these are different tastes.
Don't get me wrong, and I actually agree with this. Don't get me wrong though, I love oranges, but these should only be eaten alone.
Fruit salad.
Right, we're going to the next one.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right, if a restaurant is busy, don't linger after your meal. You know how sometimes, so the opposition would be like, I've paid
to be here, I'll take my time. Yeah.
I'll take my time, I'm not going to rush away, which is fair enough, but you know, some people just take the piss.
Yeah,
For 20 minutes, that's a long time if you're just not eating.
It depends. I've got this really terrible habit of not answering your question at all and just going, well, it depends on this. I mean, maybe this is my entitlement showing. I think if you've paid to go to a restaurant, you don't want to feel like I've got to get off this table. I think that comes down to the staff. Yeah, I wash my hands of all responsibility for that one.
Comes down to the staff.
Yeah, they shouldn't be rushing you off tables. They should be, timing it well.
I think this means you as a person being polite. Do you stay there for ages?
I wouldn't take the piss, no. If it's absolutely heaving, if I can see a queue of people who can all see me having finished my meal and sitting there just being like, I enjoyed Barbie as well, just taking ages and ages after the meal, and there's a queue of people outside the door just going, we've been here a while.
No, like, I'm not saying you should just you finish your food now, let's rush off.
Yeah.
But take your time, leave.
This has sparked a much bigger discussion than I thought it would.
Because it's important. I feel strong about stuff like this.
Yeah.
I hate it when I'm in a queue and someone's just waiting there for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Talking because they're paid.
For me, it depends how ugly they are. that will inform how angry I am at them. I agree with it. You shouldn't take the piss. I don't think you should feel rushed off, but no, you shouldn't take the piss.
Alright, next one. People that say they don't believe in violence need to keep that themselves.
That's a brilliant one. That's fantastic.
Alright, let me elaborate on it. I wasn't raised in a world where actions and words did not have consequences. If a person is to point where their words or actions are a threat to people's safety, sometimes violence is the only thing that the person will understand. Otherwise, they will keep.
Sorry, who's written this? Is this like a?
This is like, I feel this is a bit of a Scrabble. He just picked random words.
Yeah.
But I think what he's trying to say, what they're trying to say, is sometimes people don't understand things unless they are able to receive harm.
Nah, I think that's really harmful. I think firstly, everyone communicates differently. Everyone's differently abled. So I think resorting to violence isn't something to be proud of. It's very human. It's understandable. I think the way this is phrased is entirely self-serving. People that say violence,
it's literally aimed at you. People that say they don't believe in violence need to keep that to themselves.
It's about me. It's not that I don't believe in violence. We all want to smack someone sometimes. Possibly at this very moment. I just think the way it's phrased is quite funny. People that say they don't believe in violence need to keep that to themselves because they don't know.
I agree. I think
they don't know the struggle.
Violence, just keep that to yourself, mate. But last one, I think.
It's not that I don't. Hang on, no, we're brushing past this. It's not that I don't believe. What does that even mean? I don't believe in violence. It's such a stupid statement. It's moronic. I don't believe in violence. Who's that?
That's not what they're saying. It's saying the people that don't believe.
I know that's not what you said, but the way it's phrased is so simplistic. You need to keep that to yourself. You don't believe in violence. It's like, well, it's not. Surely it's not as simple as not believing in violence. I know violence is real. What do you mean you don't believe in using violence as a means to achieve your ends? You know, this is the same as this. It has. This is the same as people that go, "You wouldn't like me when I'm angry." I'm like, no, I wouldn't. I bet you're a. Everyone is when they're angry. Why would you? No, you wouldn't. It's laughable. It's like everyone getting violence easy. Everyone can get violent. Everyone can be violent. I don't believe in it as a means of communicating. I understand why people get violent. That's fine.
I think what
I'm definitely the target audience, aren't I?
It's triggered you because it's aimed at you, basically.
It's triggered me because it's moronic. Next,
last one, yeah. No one has ever made a good point with the phrase "living in your head rent free." I kind of agree with that because I feel like you know what, it's one that's used in the group chat so much. You know when people like set out the little fishing rod and they're like, they want to get like little bites out of you because they're trying to say things to trigger you.
Yeah.
And then when you respond, they're like, "Oh, living your head rent free."
Well, yeah, I agree. I agree. It's immature, isn't it? I think that one, it's just the latest in a long line of fairly transparent phrases that have come in and out of fashion. You know, I was living in your head rent free. It's like, you're not trying to achieve any kind of constructive communication with that, are you? You're just trying to wind someone up.
Yeah. No, I think it's just a way of saying, like, I don't really have much to say. So I'm going to say this to make it look like you're always thinking about me.
Yeah, definitely.
I think a lot of people...
I agree with that. Yeah.
A lot of people, in our group chats, it's always used all the time. It's like, come on. Like, I'm not always thinking about you. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
It's just because I'm responding to what you tried to trigger me, and I'm like, you know what? I know he's trying to trigger me, but I'll give back.
Yeah.
What he's trying to do. I'll give him what. So I'm not. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No. We've put that to bed.
Right.
Oh, is that all of them?
That's all of them for this week.
Oh.
But hopefully people are gonna add their versions to the comments. I feel like you're gonna have loads. So I feel like all the comments are gonna be number 1, number 2, number 3.
Yeah.
Right, what are we talking about this week?
Good.
What's your unpopular opinion?
Well, I'll tell you, because I did loads of prep for this and not just 5 minutes before we started doing it. Social media makes us less social.
Yeah, so I think to start off with, we should just like say yes or no, or agree or not agree. I obviously, like we spoke already, like I completely agree. It makes us so unsocial. You agree with it or you don't?
I do. I mean, I think this is the problem with this. You're very succinct. You can get your point done like that. I talk for ages without saying much. So
this is why you're on a podcast.
I know, but I'm going to apologise for that now because it's so annoying to listen to.
Later.
You could have got anyone to do this. Yes, I think social media makes us less social. But to be clear, I think social media is a great tool. Like any other tool, whether it's positive or negative, is a reflection of the person that's using it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the way that we've got this massive, oversaturated world of social media that kind of disconnects us from reality can be really unhealthy. I think there's a really positive version of social media.
Yeah.
But
I think, I'm not one of the people who's like, oh, social media is so bad. Don't go and delete your social media. Do you know what I hate actually? It's like people that. You always get these groups of people where I'm deleting my social media, I'm deleting my Instagram, I'm deleting my Twitter or whatever, and then what they've done is just delete the app. They haven't like completely shut down their account or anything. They just delete the app to make it look like to everyone else that they've gone to some Zen mode. No, you haven't done that. You've just deleted the app from your phone. So for a bit, you can act like you need to be cleansed.
Yes.
And then when you realise that you're like people are talking about bits that you haven't seen or you're falling behind on memes or something, you're going to re-download it.
I'm not up to date with my memes. I need to know what the latest ones are. No, you're spot on. I think you've hit the nail on the head here, and I literally wrote a sketch about this. It's like I think what you're describing is maybe the biggest symptom of where social media becomes an addiction and affects people negatively and removes them from reality and makes them less social, because they then have behaviours like this. You see on someone's stories like, I'm taking a social media break, guys. But I don't want any attention for it, which is why I've put it on social media. And I don't want to talk about it, and everything's fine. People are commenting, this is the last thing I wanted. I'm leaving, guys, and I don't know when I'll be back. And then the next day it's like, hi guys,
I'm back.
I've got my free fro-yo. Don't know what that is.
They're like, oh, message me privately if you want to get in touch or anything.
Yeah, and it's like stop begging for attention.
They're just people, that's the people that they think they're like the main character, aren't they? They're just like, everyone's just waiting. Like,
I'm the protagonist.
I can't believe you've shut down your social media. I'll just message you now on WhatsApp to be like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Why are you so? You must be getting so many messages. Oh, just
I think it is immature. I think it's interesting for us because it's something we've kind of seen the birth of as we've grown up. You know, when we were teenagers, it was just starting, and like phones weren't allowed in schools or anything like that. And it's completely turned around now. Like my brother and sister are 10 years younger than me, and they've not known any world without social media. And it's a really interesting one for me because they were encouraged to have their phones in schools, and it's actually like, obviously, like this, it's great. I love having a phone. It's an office, it's a communication device, it's a way to hold memories together. It's great. But because it's also that portal to social media oblivion, and that's all they've known. They've actually learned a certain way of speaking through social media, whereas my view on it is sometimes social media is the devolution of how to communicate.
Yeah.
And that's like a 10-year difference. That's nothing. That's like a drop in the ocean.
It's not just that though, mate. It's, you know what? It's the most like toxic. I say toxic lightly because I'm for social media.
Yeah.
I think used in the right moderation is so good.
Yeah.
But there's things like stories, like Instagram story. I think most social media apps have them now. That's what causes people to be less social.
Yeah.
Well, not that solely. That's one of the biggest factors.
It's one factor. Yeah.
I ran into a friend. Well, I say a friend, someone that you should know basically.
Yeah.
The other day on a night out, and he was like, "Oh, I saw that your brother got married. Like, how was that? And I saw that you've been playing football. You've been doing this, and you've been." He literally knew half of my life in the last 2-3 months, and I haven't seen him for like 3-4 years.
Crazy.
And that shows that you don't actually physically have to go out and meet someone and, spend time with them and have a catch up about, what's going on with your life. You can literally sit there on your phone, scroll through the stories and know exactly what everyone's getting up to, which is scary. But you might think, okay, how is it scary? Like, you've put that online yourself. You're expecting people to see that, yeah. But that's just generally like what you're documenting of your day, of your week, of your month. You don't expect people to not speak to you about it just because they've already seen some of it.
It gets quite assumptive, doesn't it? Yeah.
I wouldn't say to you, for example, "Oh, Sam, I've seen your week on social media on stories.
Yeah.
So we don't need to catch up this weekend. We'll just not go for a drink. We'll just leave it." You wouldn't do that, would you? But that's what you do.
No, not at all. I think you're right. I mean, again, I think it can be a really good thing. A really good friend of mine lives in Canada now. He's lived there since just before the lockdowns, and in that time, he's got married and had a kid. And that's amazing. I love that I can see that, and I love that he's putting that out there, and that's great. And I think that's a safe, mature way of using social media, that you know who's watching it, you can control whether it's your friends or public or whatever. I think that's a really good thing. But then you get the other side of that, which I think is what you're talking about, which is where people just live their life like an open wound and kind of get so lost in doing that they forget people see that. You get to the point where people you don't know just like, "Oh yeah, I saw your post about your favourite." I couldn't think of anything funny, and I'm quite embarrassed now. But yeah.
Do you know what gets me? The funniest thing is like when people they get so into like posting what's going on in their life that there's random things like, I don't know, they'll be getting chased by someone, or that's a bit of an extreme example, but like,
hi guys,
some extreme example, but the first thing they do is want to go on live or want to put something on their story, and you can just see them like recording themselves running away.
It is strange, isn't it? I think that is a little bit toxic. How it's like, well, this is an opportunity to get views. I mean, I do think it's. I don't know where I sit with the kind of like, I'm going live because an injustice is happening to me. Like, I'm not sure. I get why that's like a trigger thing, and that's like that can be a good tool for people who are on the receiving end of some kind of social injustice. But I think like anything else, it can get turned on its head into quite a cynical, opportunistic thing, and then people are literally living through their phones looking for these opportunities to do what you described, and that.
Do you know what makes me laugh?
Actually, trying to manufacture it, that's got to be toxic, right?
Well, what makes me laugh is well, I say girls, I've never seen guys do it, but that's just what I've experienced. But mostly girls, when something's made them really upset, they obviously are upset about, and they're literally in tears, and they'll record themselves saying, "Oh, I'm in tears because of X, Y, Z." Or like they'll post a picture and be like, "Oh, I'm crying over blah blah."
Yeah.
Like, can't surely be that upset because you're only doing this because you want people to be like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you?"
This is part of the same thing that we're talking about, isn't it? And I don't think it's a gender specific thing. I don't think I have seen any guys doing it.
I've never seen a guy. It doesn't happen. Like, yeah.
It's we don't need to get into that whole conversation. Gender doesn't inform behaviour. We don't have time for everything today. I think regardless of who you are and whatever, those kind of behaviours can exist if you perhaps don't have the self-awareness or the social intelligence, the emotional intelligence, or whatever you want to call it, to see it for what it is and think, well, people are going to see through that.
Yeah.
And that really is a bit of a tragic behaviour, isn't it? There's a difference between that and someone kind of sharing something which might just be with their friends, or to say, this thing happened and I just thought I'd put it in the world. Like, there's a difference between that sort of, this might be really helpful information for someone, let's turn it into a constructive thing, and then this thing which we're talking about, which is just old-fashioned attention seeking. There is a difference.
What about, so I see, I'm a bit like on the fence with this, because I keep changing my mind about it. You get these people where like they'll have like a very minimal profile. Like, they won't have a profile picture.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Instagram I'm talking about. It could be
Catfish.
Most that.
I'm talking about catfish.
Well, no, they're real. They're like, they'll be your mates or whatever, but they have no profile picture. They only have about 4 posts, or if that, like 5-6 posts.
Yeah.
They never actually post anything on the stories, but they view everything and they know everything. They're just like in the background, like lurking. Sometimes I'm like...
Lurking, that's very emotive.
Well, it feels like that sometimes, but I'm like,
lurkers.
Oh my God, why have you got social media? You only have it to see what other people are doing, or do you want to like document your own stuff?
I don't have a problem with that. I think it's...
The other side would be like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, the reason you have social media is to see what other people are up to. I'm on the fence with it. I think I mostly stick by like, why are you here? Like, are you just stalking people? Or
how many accounts have you really got?
Or do you? Because these are real people. Like, I have friends that are like that when they don't actually post much. And I'm not saying you have to post. You have to post to have social media.
Well, this is the point that I was going to make, Haz. I don't think. I think that the fallacy. I think the mistake is thinking you have to have a device. You have to have social media. I mean, it's very, very rare now that someone doesn't have one of these, right? It's just being part of the world, I think. But I think we're actually at that point where we assume that everyone is on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, and they're not. It's like any other tool. It's like any other. I mean, people turn it into art with Instagram and stuff, don't they? And I like that personally. But we assume that everyone has it for the same reasons and has it at all and needs it. It's like, oh well, of course I've got social media. That's like saying, have I got shoes? And it's actually not at all. Yeah. Not everybody does want to put themselves out there. People have different levels of how open they want to be or need to be, and I think it's really nice if you've got it. It's like, oh yeah, I've got it, so I can have a look now and then. I'm not bothered about putting my stuff out in the world. I think it's so subjective. It really does come down to the individual, and I think it's really important to kind of remember that, because I think it can be so easy to, and I'm guilty of this, like being assumptive with, oh yeah, no, you've got that, you've seen that, or you know how that works.
I suppose the flip side is like, oh, just because I'm not confident in posting stuff doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to get involved in X, Y, like...
It might not be confidence, it might just be preference.
I don't want to, yeah. I get that bit, which is why I said I'm on the fence with people that are like the hidden profiles and all that stuff. But yeah, I guess it's preference, but I guess back to the main point, all that stuff does make you less social. Like if you are there talking to loads of people, if I'm messaging you, if I'm DMing you like on these apps, I'm talking about, oh, like you've posted something and I'm like, oh, that looks amazing. Yeah. How about we talk about this and blah blah. That's actually making you more social. That's what it's intended for. Yeah. But the reality is that doesn't happen. People will react to your stories. They put a smiley face and that's it. And that's to them. That's their them being social for the week with that person or for the month. Yeah, and that's where it's real life. Yeah, and I don't. Again, maybe it's a cultural thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to use my siblings again. Sorry, they've got friends they've never met online that they play games with, that they talk to, and in my mind I'm like, that's a giant red flag. How can you be friends with someone that you've never like properly met them? But meeting people online has been a thing for a long time now. And I just, that again, maybe it's personal preference, maybe I'm just showing my age, I don't know. That I think that's weird. I think that's really, really weird. But at the same time, like you said, if you're like consistently talking to someone online, whether it's through an Xbox party chat or DMing or whatever, you may not have met them at all, or you may not meet them as much. But it's still technically being social, aren't you? You're still being social with this person. You're still interacting. I think just because we're not meeting in real life as much doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just unhealthy if you don't do it at all.
It comes down to the individual. It comes down to the individual, how you use it, what part it plays in your life. And I think that, the whole hidden profile thing I'm preoccupied with. I've been tricked before.
Are you talking about catfishing? Or I was talking about something different.
I know you were.
I was talking about people that you actually know.
I'm just trying to shoehorn in a funny thing. I know what you were talking about.
I want to know what your catfishing story is.
You want to know what my catfishing story is? Well, I got messaged by someone who it was a really attractive girl. I didn't get scammed. No, I came close though. I'm not as stupid as I look. I didn't see that and think, oh, this insanely attractive woman. This seems legit. Yeah, I have no idea who she is. We've got no one in common. She wants to know things about my personal life, and she wants to know if I'll buy her some iTunes vouchers. Yeah.
Oh, please!
Seems legit.
You bought some, didn't you?
I bought a house in Turkey. Yeah.
And now, is that what you're moving to next week?
Yeah. I'm in so much trouble. I'm in deep.
Even speak Turkish.
I'm in so deep. Oh, it's terrible. No. Sorry, this is a terrible anecdote. There's no story really. It's more kind of a general kind of. I had one experience where someone started messaging me and I got caught off guard. I was like, I kind of recognised that name, and I started talking. And about halfway through, the way of talking was so strange and so kind of artificial. And then I was kind of like, I'm really curious about this. So I spoke to people and I did some research. I went on Wikipedia, and I was like, so the whole thing about catfishing is fascinating to me, because I do think it's relevant to what we're talking. I think it comes back around to why would you pretend to be someone else online? That might be going down a bit of a dark avenue that I don't want to. There's, apart from sex crime, there are other things that do it as well.
What things like hide?
Well, there's like the sorry. We'll just cut the catfish. Yeah. Oh, it's weird. This is going terribly. There is this weird trend of people talking on Reddit and stuff, saying, "Yeah, no, I'm a catfish. I do it. Yeah, it's normal." It's like, why not just be yourself online? It's like, it's just fun to kind of see how people react when you say things about this invented person. And you're like, isn't that a bit sociopathic? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I suppose you're right. It does.
But this whole thing didn't exist before social media.
No, catfishing is still part of the topic, as in, like, it does make you less social in a way, and it gives you the opportunity to create this new person. Yeah. Yeah, it gives this person a chance to create this fake scenario, fake world, less consequences. I won't say no, but like things like rejection and stuff, like if they get rejected, if they're messaging someone, it doesn't matter because that's not me.
Yeah,
that's my fake person that I've made, and they can handle rejection. They can create this whole persona. They're like how they may want to be in their actual life, but they can't. They'll create this fake persona of a person, and that makes you less social because you're more focused on living this fake life.
You really seem to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've got quite a few. No,
is this you? Oh yeah, I blocked them.
Why have you got a whole folder for fake?
That's nothing. That's fine. That's for my own personal use. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why that's on there. Okay.
No, I think catfishing is definitely
my animal videos. I'm sorry. I've sent this off on a real tangent here. I think the bottom line with that is that it's one. The bottom line with the catfishing is that it's one symptom of the kind of reality disconnect and actually a conscious way of talking to people in quite a false way and kind of it takes the risk out of communication, doesn't it? I just think that's anti-development, isn't it? Coming back to the original point, we've talked about catfishing, and I think that communication element of it, where there's no risk involved because you've got distance. I think we see that all the time in the comments section, Keyboard warrior is a term. I love that. I love that. You can say, he's a keyboard warrior. That's great because you know immediately what you're talking about.
Just hide behind.
And I think I've been guilty of that, and I've caught myself going, this is ridiculous. Why am I getting so involved with this? All I did was click on this trailer, and now I'm talking about the fall of Marxist Russia. I don't know what's going on. You can really
imagine you getting proper triggered in the comment section.
Well, here's the thing. When I was younger, yeah, but now that I'm old and I wear cardigans, yeah. When I was 31, but now I'm 32 and I've changed now. No, I do get sucked in because I'll post something on an article and I'll be like, I really enjoyed that. I didn't quite agree with that bit. And you'll get a reply. And it's always something either really defensive or really kind of like hurling a stereotype. It's almost like, I bet you voted Remain, didn't you? It's like, I did. But I get stop hurling stereotypes around. I always try and engage and try and be a bit open and go, so you've said that. I don't quite understand why. I'd be really interested to talk more about this. I ponce it up in that horrible posh way that I do, but I try and engage, and I do try and say, I do try and do that thing of thinking, if I was face to face with this person, we wouldn't actually be going like really, really rudely at each other. We'd just be having a conversation.
Or we just leave the conversation.
Or we just leave the conversation. It's like, oh yeah, bye. I'm going to moan about you over there. So I understand why you think I'd get triggered in the comment section, and I definitely do. But the way I display it, I try and be open and reasonable. I think social media, one really good thing about it is that it affords you the opportunity to display being open and listening to what you disagree with. And I think people show their vulnerability by kind of staunchly defending whatever they've said or whatever it is that they claim as part of their identity. And I think that comes from a very human place of, this is mine and I've got to protect it. But a big tragedy of that now is that what that does is it kind of shuts off any kind of openness to learning something and taking a risk on being wrong, because we're all wrong all the time. And I think that's where social media can be really, really good. People can actually change your mind about something. It's happened today with these little bits. The orange thing, I would never have thought that in a million years. That's perhaps not one of the pressing social issues of the day. But so yeah, I think drawing a line under this point that I'm meandering towards, the way social media changes the way you communicate and perhaps emboldens you to be ruder than you would be in real life. I think that you can turn that on its head, and it can be a really good way of learning and engaging with people that perhaps you never would, because you support a different football team or because you like a different sport. You never would talk to that person, but you find yourself in the comments section of The Independent or something on Facebook talking to someone who lives in a completely different part of the country. That's brilliant. I think that's fucking fantastic. And I think that it could so often be a high point of someone's day instead of this kind of thing that's just going to increase your blood pressure.
Yeah, I agree.
There was a point in there somewhere. Sorry, I went off on one.
In conclusion then to it, what are the main... So we both agree it does make us less social having social media, right? Compared to what it was before, where there's less social media apps and less interaction online. We're more interactive in everyday life, right? Yeah. But at the same time, on the flip side, you can still be social online. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's just within, if it's limited to a certain amount, if it's constant and that's the only thing you're doing, I can see that as being really unhealthy.
We're talking about hobby versus habit here, really, aren't we? Because social media, let's be clear, it's a leisure activity. I mean, LinkedIn, maybe not so much. That's more about pushing your career, and that's great. But it's a leisure activity, posting photos online, and that's great. So I think it's hobby versus habit. If it's something that you've got control of, it's like any other kind of addiction, because it can become addictive. Doom scrolling, doom scrolling makes you infertile. Apparently, that's a fact. That's a fact I found. Yeah,
it's definitely true.
Definitely true. I was on something really good and I scuppered myself. It's like anything else. If you've got control of it, it's great. It's a thing that you can go onto whenever you want, and make a positive contribution, or give yourself a positive contribution by finding new information and being able to discern fact from opinion. So I think we're in agreement that social media makes you less social. Inherently, because you're spending more time on this and less time in the real world. There is a positive version of that, but it's hard to see because more often than not, it's colourful noise and adverts and perfect body image and info, and then this whole comments section thing. Yeah. So I think there's a really positive version of it. I think often it's kind of veiled by the more easy to identify negative sides of it.
That was a really good summary, mate.
Cheers.
I was going to do that bit, but you did it.
Oh, sorry. No, yours was good. You can cut mine. Can I give you one more fact?
Yeah, go on.
Which I always say in David Brent's voice. So average social media time in 2023 is 150 minutes per day per person. You think about it, a long film is like 2.5 hours. 151 minutes. That's like the same amount of time you'd sit in the cinema and watch Oppenheimer. Oh no, that's 3 hours, isn't it? Whatever.
I get your point though. That's a crazy amount, and that's the average. Obviously, you got people that use way more.
One thing we've not talked about is medically how healthy it is to have that amount of screen time. I'm sorry, I know we're already wrapping up and stuff, but just quickly, like I've not looked at what the statistics are, but they say you're meant to have 20-minute break every hour of screen time. Forgetting social media for a minute, I mean, you and I work. I mean, I'm still on the phones, you're not anymore, but the amount of screen time we have in our jobs, it's very sedentary. And I work 8 hours on looking at a screen and don't have 20-minute break. It's the same with this. So it's not just in a sedentary workplace anymore. It's in everyday life. You don't move when you're on your phone usually, like whether you're standing or sitting. So medically, it's making us less social as well because we're getting stuck on our phones. Yeah. So I think that's the bottom line. It's a great tool. There's a really positive version of it out there, but removing opinion from it, factually you should actually spend less time on social media because it's going to be healthy and therefore make you more social.
Yeah, definitely. So we've actually agreed on this one. Yeah. Which is glad because normally we don't actually agree with anything.
No, we don't.
Especially the Jaffa Cake thing.
I mean, I love Jaffa Cakes, but
maybe you haven't answered why. Anyway,
I don't think that was a disagreement. That was just.
It was definitely okay.
I don't think. See, we don't even agree about that.
So before we wrap up, what would you say? And this is me having to read your comment
more clever
on the video later. What would you say is your next unpopular theory, and how would you back that up?
My next unpopular theory would be the music industry is dying, and I would back that up with copious amounts of evidence.
So maybe that's another episode coming up.
Yeah, we'll see. I think I said that at the end of the last one as well, but it didn't happen.
So. No, thanks for jumping on the podcast, mate.
My pleasure.
Hopefully you guys have many unpopular opinions that you can back up with some theory. Yeah. So put that in the comments, and then I can get Sam on there to be triggered.
Yeah.
You're already triggered just thinking about it.
I'm an incredibly violent man.
You said you didn't believe in violence.
I know. What a hypocrite.
Right, mate. Thank you so much. That's reaction time for you.